they could frankly be a little bit of a worse team after all that. I mean, if you add up, if just in a vacuum, you add up the combined wars of what Danny Jansen and Eloy Jiménez will contribute in 2025 compared to what Jose Siri and Jeffrey Springs will contribute in 2025, it could be a mark in the loss column or the negative column.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulysses Zambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's Game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till 2024 that we've covered the team, the Rays have gone to the playoffs, but you can still grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Before we get started, we have to tell you that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, because right now the new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
All right. Today's show coming off of our lengthy interview with Chris Latvala. Hopefully everybody enjoyed that. If you have not checked it out, we recommend you go to the YouTubes or any of the podcasting platforms to check out that nearly hour-long conversation with the Pinellas County Commissioner, and you get some good insights, nuggets, details on his perspective, the Commission's perspective on how the Rays Stadium fallout has occurred. So we might even have to dedicate an episode just based on our thoughts on what he had to say and what the listeners had to say in reaction to that, because there were quite a smattering of comments on the YouTube channel, if I recall, saying, well, what about this? Or I agree with this, or I disagree with this, or have you ever thought about this? And there we were.
Plenty. I think around 30 comments. So wow. Yeah, it was pretty hopping in the comment section. That's awesome. Keep doing that. I know obviously Stadium Talk is going to get people a little bit more into typing on their keyboards, but yeah, I think overall the sentiment in the comments was that they enjoyed the interview. They liked it, which is awesome. That's again two things that we want to do. Entertain and inform. And if we can do both in one episode, that's pretty cool.
The biggest stadium update that we have going into the new year really isn't anything outside of I want to know where the Rays will be hosting FanFest, because I assume it is not going to be at Tropicana Field. And I would also presume it wouldn't be at Steinbrenner, but I could be wrong on that front. Maybe it will be at Steinbrenner for all I know.
I know it wouldn't be safe to do that at the Trop. Obviously, you got kids and all that, and it's like not safe. But I think it would be kind of a cool quote unquote goodbye, just like to see like at least a
temporary goodbye, because it may or may not be rebuilt.
Right.
Funding from the city of St. Petersburg.
That's why quote unquote, right? Like, hey, it would be just kind of, I don't know the right adjective to not throw off people. Like, I don't want to say like it would be nice, because it's not nice, but it would be kind of a cool, surreal experience to be at the Trop for FanFest and you're looking at clouds. Like that would be kind of cool. At least they do it in the parking lot.
That's what I was thinking. They could. I would think that in order to, although who knows what the Rays are thinking at this point, but to kind of assuage concerns and to build back some goodwill, you don't have FanFest in Hillsborough County or Tampa. you have it in Pinellas County, so at least you bring some semblance of tourism for that one late morning and early afternoon to that side of the Tampa Bay area. So you could theoretically do it in the Trop parking lot, or the Rays own the Rowdies. Al Lang, I assume, I've never been there, but I would assume that St. Petersburg has a convention center, a visitors bureau that could be deployed and utilized. There's got to be some sort of indoor-outdoor space that could be leveraged for FanFest. Isn't there the pier as well? I've heard a lot about that. So I think there
was a watch party at the pier. Remember in the 2022 wild card, I was there for the second game where they lost in like 16 innings. But yeah, the pier would be, I think, a good one. But it's not happening at Steinbrenner Field. Why? Because FanFest is usually around February, like right around spring training. And Steinbrenner Field at that time is going to be Yankee territory. So
yes, it's going to be Yankee land up until late March 28th, or whenever the Rays home opener is. I'm still not sure on that date. I have to look that up. They've been changing the schedules around so much.
I think the 30th.
It's very close to the deadline that the Rays have to prove to the city and county that they've met all their obligations in regards to pre-construction documents and all that nitty gritty, that they're willing to go forward, or they're going to default and pack their bags or try to work on a new deal.
Look at that stadium talk without even
wanting. I know, not stadium talk without stadium talk. There we go. So if you have an idea, I wouldn't even planning to bring that up. It was just
me either
aside there, but it basically became our first segment. We would like to hear from the audience. What would be an ideal location for Rays 2025 FanFest? Ulysses, I think you and I have gone to the last several FanFest, post-COVID anyway. And it's always a good time, always great to catch up with the listeners, maybe get some swag and learn a thing or two about what's going on with the team. So put it in the comments, put it on social media, send us an email. What is your idea or suggestion? And who knows, maybe we'll pass it along to the Rays, because maybe they have no idea at this point, as they're still reeling from Hurricane Milton.
Other things, maybe I can you know what? Hey, if you have a great suggestion for a FanFest, you drop it down in the YouTube comments, and guess what? Mr. Kevin Wise has a direct line to Stu Sternberg. People don't like to. People don't like to.
Texted me,
but he just texted Kevin. Look at that. Stu just texted him. So it's an open line. People, come on, you can use it.
He just texted me, and he's basically blowing up my phone and saying, because he sent 4 texts to me, and I've not yet answered one of those texts. So he said, quote, "Earth to Kevin." So that means that after this show, I really need to hop on the phone and give Stu a little piece of my mind and go from there. All right. We do want to, the purpose of this episode, New Year's Day episode, little inside baseball. We're going back and forth a little bit as to the direction of what we are going to have here. Our initial thought was, hey, let's look back at the best and worst moments of the Rays from 2024. And we pretty much have covered all that in a bag of chips. So we're going to do a little bit more of a recent update and give a grade so far as to what the Rays have done and haven't done in the offseason via trades, free agency, Rule 5 draft, non-tenders, so on and so forth. So just want to kind of give a briefing on all that has occurred since really early November, if we may. So before we do that, we have to tell the audience something very important, and that is FanDuel. You have to tell the audience about FanDuel. Why? Well, because the NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel. They are America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W. You can bet on which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score. It's pretty darn thrilling, and that's just scrapping the iceberg on what can be bet and played upon. Don't believe it? Well, just check it out for yourself. go to fanduel.com to join today. That's fanduel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. They are an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, Ulysses, looking at the Rays offseason so far and giving it a grade, not, again, just what they've done up to this point. Maybe more moves are in the pipeline from now until the beginning of spring training or up to the end of spring training. I mean, the Rays sometimes make a move for a catcher or two right before the season starts. So don't put it past them. But as of this date, as of this recording date, this is essentially what we have thus far. The Rays signed Danny Jansen, catcher, to a 1-year deal with an option. They signed designated hitter Eloy Jiménez to a minor league deal with an invite to spring training and several incentives tied to that if he makes the team. Some notable subtractions: Jose Siri, outfielder, was traded to the Mets. And we, of course, know about the Jeffrey Springs trade to the Athletics for prospects, essentially, plus a prime draft pick. And some of the guys that the Rays chose to non-tender and let become free agents were Tyler Alexander, Dylan Carlson, Richard Lovelady, and friend of the program, Colin Poche. And then if we even want to go further down into things, the Rays participated in the Rule 5 draft, grabbing 2 pitchers, Nate Lavender and Mike Vassell from the Mets. Meanwhile, Evan Reifert, who is much ballyhooed as a prospect, he was taken by the Nationals. So that's pretty much what we have. Anything I missed in that respect as to some of the wheeling and dealing that the Rays have done? I know they've made some minor moves for like Coco Montez and Joey Gerber and things to that effect, but we're talking more of the guys that theoretically would make a bigger impact on the major league field in 2025.
Then yes, then we've mentioned all the big ones. The moves that have been made that might not be in the casual ear of a fan. Honestly, they weren't going to be, I think, big factors for the 2025.
Yeah, those are crumbs. Those are little crumbs.
Just little moves here and there, and every team is going to have those. But no, that's really the pluses and minuses. So should we? I think we should give out what most people think. We put a poll on Twitter, yes. and I want to like frame our conversation by using that. The poll was: how would you grade the Rays offseason moves thus far? Let us know in the comments. A, B, C, or D, or F. A stunning 0% for the letter grade A, 30% B, 49% C, and D and F get 21%. I myself was one of the voters for C, and you can see that if you were on YouTube.
And I should also note that not to take away from what these guys did, but I failed to mention the Rays lost guys like Jacob Lopez and Austin Shinton as well through various maneuvers. But yeah, that's where we have it. I think the only, I wasn't expecting many people to vote A there because it would take a Santander signing or a Teoscar Hernandez signing or a trade for Cody Bellinger. It would take a move that teams like the Orioles, Red Sox, and Yankees have made thus far in the offseason.
It would have to be something that those other fan bases would be like, what? The Rays did that? Like, that's the kind of thing. Like how they were talking when the Rays signed Charlie Morton for the 2019 season. Like something like that, something big. That has not happened. We got a comment from our buddy, Ryan Hill. He says, it has been a solid Rays offseason so far. I would still like to see them land a power bat or shortstop, but it is very likely they are done until late into spring training. And honestly, I think he just encapsulated what most Rays fans feel like. It's been solid, but it hasn't really addressed the number one bigaboo of this team, which is, can you get more offense? And then, some people can say, well, Eloy Jiménez can do something. Danny Jansen can do something. Yes, it should improve on paper. Danny Jansen is more than Alex Jackson and Rorvet, hopefully, right?
Yes.
Offensively.
So you upgraded your worst offensive position on one of the worst offensive teams in baseball last year.
Easily, right? So that's a positive. So that's a move in the right direction. Then Eloy Jiménez, well, guess what? There are so many question marks about him that you signed him to a minor league deal. Right. So it's not like it's a for sure thing. You hope that it could be something. It could be something really cool, like maybe Avisaíl Garcia in 2019.
Right.
But you don't know that for sure. So really, the big thing hasn't really been addressed with the offense. So that's why I would give a C+ for this offseason. Like, it's been solid, but I can't give you, other teams in the division have been doing a lot more.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. You look at what the Red Sox are doing. They're competing with pitching. That's like all they're doing. Walker Buehler, Patrick Sandoval, Garrett Crochet, Aroldis Chapman. The Yankees, even though they lost some key pieces, most notably somebody named Juan Soto, but they went out and they didn't rest on their laurels. They said, hey, we're going to go get Max Fried. We're going to trade for Devin Williams. We're going to trade for Cody Bellinger. We're going to sign Paul Goldschmidt. So they're pretty much doing their part. And the Orioles, like I mentioned, they signed Tyler O'Neill. The Blue Jays, they added a couple pieces in Yimi Garcia and Andres Jimenez. And, the Rays are never, ever really going to win the offseason or spend as much money in the offseason as these other ball clubs. Really, if you want to look at it, if the Rays are trying to create payroll flexibility for future years or to use that capital for a new stadium, I don't know if that's even possible, then I guess you're a little bit more successful because they've been doing a good job of that, of shedding payroll since July and then now into the offseason with Jose Siri and Jeffrey Springs. But I'm also wondering is like, they could frankly be a little bit of a worse team after all that. I mean, if you add up, if just in a vacuum, you add up the combined WARs of what Danny Jansen and Eloy Jiménez will contribute in 2025 compared to what Jose Siri and Jeffrey Springs will contribute in 2025, it could be a mark in the loss column or the negative column. Having said that, you've saved quite a bit of shekels in that respect. And I guess as far as the offensive component, assuming that Eloy somewhat works out and Danny Jansen works out, I think those two in a vacuum should be able to make up for the offensive loss of Jose Siri. We know Jose Siri could hit home runs, 18 to 25 over the course of 100 to 130 games. And I think between Jansen and Jimenez, assuming health, that they could more or less equal that number.
But
you're still basically in the same boat as you were in 2024.
That's the hope, right? Like they can push a little bit, those power numbers a little bit up, which I know when we talk to Evan Klosky, that's his number one thing is like, you got to get more bombs. And he's right. Now, you did mention something that kind of perked my ears when you said they have been shedding salary. And cheeky, you said maybe that can go to the stadium. ... ellipsis. Can it? Because when we talked to Zach Blobner about a month ago, he said it's completely different. They're not doing their baseball moves according to what the stadium needs are.
Right.
Okay. If we take that as face value, then go get someone. Then go spend some money because you've shed some so you could add some, right? But if it's not at face value and maybe there is some congruence between, hey, we need some money for the stadium, so we got to lower that payroll. Well, then how and why should Rays fandom be expecting anything else for the rest of the offseason if they're just going to be saving money, hopefully, for the stadium? So we shouldn't really be expecting anything huge, right?
I wouldn't think so, especially with some of the comments that we've heard through the local and national media, and how the Rays, I guess, feel like we're playing at Steinbrenner Field. That's our offensive boost right there. Full season from Junior Caminero. We're going to get some build up offensively there as well. Then that pretty much, I guess, in their opinion, solves that equation. Which is unfortunate because I think you need a little bit more to cover the string. Even if it's going out, again, I'm not saying you have to go out and sign Anthony Santander. Jurickson Profar, I'm fine with that. Kim, the middle infielder, I'm fine with that. Some maneuver in that respect. And what I guess bugs me a little bit is with all these trades, acquisitions, Rule 5 picks, you didn't get many offensive bats. I mean, the Jeffrey Springs deal, you got one minor league bat who probably is going to be a quad A player at the end of the day. He's, to me, I mean, on paper, it's another Cameron Meisner, Jake Mangum, or Austin Shinton, something to that respect. When I think you had a prime opportunity to take some offense away from the major league club of the Oakland Athletics. Jose Siri, you didn't get a bat in return for that. All you got was a reliever or a right-handed pitcher. And then the Rule 5 draft, which again, doesn't always work out, but it was 2 pitchers. So my other thought with all this is I think they're also looking down the road. And we know this is a franchise that is predominantly pitching and defense focused. I'm also thinking that they're making these moves in response to some of the pitchers on their active roster becoming too expensive, and then doing what they did with Jeffrey Springs and Tyler Glasnow and so many other pitchers of recent years where they just get a little bit too expensive and they dump them off. And they have a pipeline in the minor leagues.
They're getting ready for the days post McClanahan. For sure.
They're getting ready for Shane McClanahan when he gets too expensive. Zach Littell, this is his last year. Shane Boz getting into arbitration. I mean, once these guys get into the second, third year of arbitration, all bets are off. I mean, it's kind of a shame in all reality that I think there's very few Rays players that if and when they sign a contract extension, they make it through that contract extension with the Rays, just like Jeffrey Springs. Like you probably can't name on your hand, like a legitimate, not like a 1 year with an option, but like a 3, 4, 5, 6 year deal. Brandon Lau might be one of he might be on the podium of guys who will accomplish that when it's all said and done.
It is really difficult to think of that. So that's why I'm going to give you all some time to think about maybe guys that have signed extensions, because I have one in my head and I will tell you that. But first, I got to tell you about Game Time. I've told you about Game Time many, many times. It's the place to get live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, comedy. That is where you want to get your tickets. And now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets to your favorite events with this new feature, the Game Time Picks. It's a feature that filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And guess what? They have helped Kevin, they have helped me, and they can help you. So today, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Kevin, what time is it?
Game Time.
That's right.
From 2024.
Can we?
I just don't see how the offense is going to be that much better in 2025 unless, again, the Rays know something that we don't know. But it does seem like you're putting a lot of pressure on these young guys to step up and contribute in a major, major way.
It's not. I mean, they are talking themselves into the lineup because you have Christopher Morel, Jonathan Aranda, Danny Jansen, Johnny DeLuca, and Taylor Walls as the 5 through 9 in your opening day lineup. That's not going to make it for 162. I'm sorry. And when you have Christopher Morel in left field, you have Jonathan Rand at DH, like, okay, well, how do the pieces go? What kind of moves can you make? I'm going to throw something out there. And I know we've talked about Santander, which obviously Venezuelan bump, I would love. The longer it takes for him to sign, the bigger the options are for the Rays and other teams to sign him, because that means,
fair.
hey, so the fact that he's still out there, but there's somebody out there who has a Tampa connection, hasn't signed, and has one skill. And that one skill is the one skill that the Rays desperately need. And that is, can you hit dingers? Can you hit them bombs? Can you put that ball in the seats? And Tampa connection, Pete Alonso. Now,
pricey.
Very pricey, right? But guess what? It seems like the Mets aren't just going to write the check just to write the check to him. So what's it going to take for Pete? We just saw with Corbin Burns, a Major League Baseball Cy Young Award winner, go, I want to be with my family. What's your best offer? I don't care, whoever has the most, just make it something palatable.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, he signs with the Arizona Diamondbacks because his family's in Arizona. Can there be a short-term deal with Pete Alonso where you tell him, hey, for 1 year, you're going to be playing in a minor league stadium, bro? I mean, you've got a chance here to bop 50. I mean, and you'd be close to your family. Would that be any sort of incentive for a guy like Pete, or is this just a cloud nine, don't even look for this?
I think it's a little bit of a cloud nine, but again, the Rays evidently threw out an offer on the table for Juan Soto. They've thrown out offers on the table for Freddie Freeman and Marcell Ozuna. So why not throw your hand up and say, we'll give you this for 1 year plus an option. We're not going to pick up the option. You go put up crazy, crazy numbers.
Yes.
And then you can get your 9-figure deal that you've been asking for. Your $250, $275 million deal that you want. The only issue, of course, is he is a Scott Boras client, and Scott Boras and the Rays don't really get along all that well.
Right.
But again, like you said, the longer this holds out, the longer this waits, even agents like Scott Boras get desperate. Players get desperate. They want to know where they're playing, where they're training, when they're going to be ready. And as we get into the new year, get into February, things could shift. Then again, you could have a case where, like, right before spring training or into spring training, Bryce Harper signs a $300 million deal. That could be an option as well. But going back to the Mets, I don't know if that's an option anymore, considering they just unloaded the Brinks truck with no deferrals. So maybe that's what you do. Maybe you get creative like the Dodgers with the deferrals. That's what they're doing with every contract seemingly now, like Teoscar Hernandez, who I thought would have been a great fit for the Rays. And that is like the type of deal that I think would be perfect. 3 years, $60+ million. See what Marcell Ozuna did a couple of years ago, and now with the Braves, and here we are. But yeah, if the issue is solving the home run crisis of the Rays, Pete Alonso would do that. That would be your marker right there. And I wouldn't even care if you went out and traded Yandy Diaz at that point.
No. I mean, obviously you would rather keep him, but if you have to trade him just to get the 10 mil off and then make Pete a little bit more comfortable for your payroll, I get it. But if you're able to just swing a 1 year, 25 to 30 mil contract, like you said, an option that's not going to be picked up. So really, it's just 1 year to tell him you're in Tampa, you're with your fam, and you're in a minor league stadium, bop 50 for us, and then go get your 9-figure deal. Like, would Rays fans really be? I mean, again, not the greatest defensive guy, not very fleet of foot, but it's 1 year, and Xavier Isaac and Trey Morgan, they're not going to be playing with the Rays next year at all. So first base, it's really like a Jonathan Aranda, Brandon Lowish, maybe Curtis Meade gets into that conversation. It's not, I mean, Yandy Diaz, you would hope that he's healthy enough to man it, but he's going to see some time at DH too. Putting Yandy at DH and Pete at first, or vice versa, it makes this team so much better.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And again, this was a team that was third worst in baseball in home runs at 147. And based on how it is right now, they could still be bottom 5 as it presently stands next year, which is unfortunate. But and like I said, if the payroll hit is too much and you have to trade from your established players, I would be okay with shipping Yandy, because Yandy's only going to give you 12 to 15 home runs. Pete Alonso in Steinbrenner, and maybe more comfortable confines of being with his family and the Tampa surroundings, he feels good about himself. He bops out 45 to 50. That you're already in the plus column there with even if you subtract Yandy's home runs, I don't know, maybe Morel can come through and pick a few more up there as well. I don't know. I think it's
or
worth considering.
You can also say, well, what's the payroll right now? Like who are the guys that are giving you the biggest pain in the butt with what they're making in 2025? I mean, it would be
before it was Jeffrey Springs,
right? But now it's Pete's up there, right? He's fourth most.
I believe so, yeah. And then, if you take Wander Franco's contract off, that would be a savings as well. But
Pete is making.
they only have 2 guys making $10 million, and that's Brandon Lau and Yandy Diaz.
Right. So, I don't know, man.
I like it.
I know it's pie in the sky, but if we're just going, it's the off season. Happy New Year, folks. I don't know. It would be nice to see what would be his answer to a 1 year, 25, 30 mil season.
Speaking of that, do we have time for a quick trivia question with it being New Year's Day?
Let's have it. Yeah, sure. What's up?
Okay, because
maybe no name that war, but maybe
no name that war. But I feel like my trivia question is very apropos to this conversation. I have in front of me the top 11 home run leaders from the 2024-7 or my gosh, my brain's not working. 2024 season. So the highest mark was 58 homers. The lowest mark was 35 homers among these 11 players last year. I want you to give me 6 of these names.
So the top 11 home run getters of 2024.
Yes.
The top one was what?
58.
And the least?
Number 11 on the list has 35.
Okay, so let's start with Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is numero uno with 58.
Let's go with Shohei Ohtani.
Number 2 with 54.
Let's go with Anthony Santander.
Number 3 with 44.
Let's
so
go.
So far.
All right. Well, not anymore. Let's go with.
There's no Rays players, by the way. Not even traded Rays players.
Let's go with Eugenio Suarez.
Strike 1.
Damn.
You love you some Eugenio Suarez.
I do. Remember, like in 2019, we were like, "Yo, why don't we just get this guy up some homers?"
I know. But he had a really good year this past season. So
yeah. Salvador Perez.
Strike 2.
God damn. All right. Lock it in, bro. Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in. Lock on.
Come on. I want to say like Kyle Schwarber because duh. Right?
Leadoff hitter.
Yeah. Crazy. Let's go with Kyle Schwarber.
He is number 8 on this list with 38. So you've got 4 names thus far of the 6 that I need.
Okay. So that Phillies team is filled. Harper and Castellanos, but I don't know if they have that much pop. Mets. Oh, Juan Soto.
Juan Soto, number 4 on the list with 41. I need one more nombre.
Okay, so maybe Pete had a down season, so not him. Lindor, no way. Braves. Olsen, that was the year before. Riley was hurt. Acuna was hurt. Marlins, no way. That's Peter Bendick's town. Chicago White Sox, yeah, against the Rays, sure. Against everybody else, no. Twins,
The
no.
White Sox had the fewest home runs in all of baseball, I think.
There you go. Twins, no. Ooh, Bobby Witt Jr.
Strike 3. Okay, here is the list. Judge 1, Ohtani 2, Santander 3, Soto 4, Marcell Ozuna 5, Jose Ramirez 6, Brent Rooker 7. Well, these guys are actually tied for 5th with 39. Ozuna, Ramirez, Rooker. Schwarber 38, Gunnar Henderson with the Orioles 37, number 10, Ketel Marte with 36. And then number 11, wouldn't mind having that bat, Yordan Alvarez with 35. So that is the list there.
Very good list. I wish we had like one of those players. Maybe Brent Rooker was for Jeffrey Springs, and then they were like, no. We don't want.
I know.
We don't want offense.
Again, I would have kept going down the list of their offensive names.
We got plenty of offense. We've got Christopher Morel. That's going to surprise people.
That's what they tell us.
Know that. Hopefully,
that's they must have some crazy analytics.
Just like
hey, anybody can have a bad couple months, bad half season
after
a trade. I get that, but
that's true.
The leash should not be all that long.
My goodness,
we could be running into Jose Martinez territory. Out the gates by May, you're gone.
You're gone.
Or Yoshi Tsutsugo. If it doesn't work out. So
yeah,
there we go.
Could be. Let's take 30 seconds. Happy New Year, people. It's a new year. It's 2025. Much love for the love you show us every time that you are putting us on your way to work, or when you're cleaning your room, or when cleaning the house, or doing the garden, or what else can people do? Oh, going to the gym. Work out.
Going to the gym, right? Yeah. Going for a walk with the dog.
Yeah, thank you for putting us on your being a first time first listen. That's pretty cool on YouTube. Subscribing, hitting the like button, it really means a lot to us. Hopefully, we get a little bit more baseball talk, not so much stadium talk. And if we get stadium talk, then we hope that it's a positive one. At best.
Indeed. And again, we still have a lot of off season to go. Some content ideas. If you have a mailbag question or a topic idea, might even have to go back into the history archives of some moments as well. Just shoot us an email, lockedonrays@gmail.com, or send us a message on X. We always appreciate that. In the meantime, hope you all have a happy New Year. Stay safe on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And we will talk to you later on.